Around 1956, John Molyneux was 13, and he lived with his family in a Grange Terrace. This is a street very close to Wavertree Playground. John had 2 brothers and 3 sisters, and one morning he woke up a bit later than usual, about 20 minutes to 9, and as he rubbed his eyes, he heard his mother shouting him, and he yawned and he stretched. The room was still a bit dark because the curtains had not been opened yet. John glanced up towards the bedroom door, and he saw something that sent a shiver down his spine. A man about 6 feet in height stood there, encased from head to toe in bandages, just like a mummy. John was so terrified that he could not even shout down to his mother, and he ducked under the blankets. Moments later he peeped out, and he found that the bandaged stranger was still there, only this time he was pointing at John. John heard his mother shouting, "John, you're going to be late for school, hurry up!" But the child could not leave the room because the alarming apparition was blocking his way. As he shouted to his mother, the man swathed in bandages pointed at him again and moved sideways away from the door. Well, John was paralysed with fear, and he lay there in the gloomy bedroom for so long that his mother and her 5 other children left the house without him. She set off for work, and the children went to school. The echoing slam of the front door meant that John was now all alone in the house. It was now or never, so he bolted from his bed and he ducked under the ghostly mummy's arm. He yanked open the door, and with his heart pounding in his ears, he almost toppled down the stairs and he fled out the front door. He ran as fast as he could to a neighbour's, still in his pyjamas, and although they could see he'd had a fright, they didn't believe the mummy story. The boy told anyone who would listen about the weird mummy in his bedroom, but most people just dismissed it as a nightmare. However, a few days later, John Molyneux was fixing himself a snack in the kitchen when a large kettle full of boiling water was accidentally knocked off the stove. The entire contents splashed all over John, and he screamed out in agony, and he collapsed. The skin peeled off his back and arms, and he was taken to Sefton General Hospital, where he later contracted pneumonia. You see, in those days, burns and scalds were not treated with sophisticated, specialised dressings. Instead, they wrapped John Molyneux in bandages from head to foot. And as he lay in the hospital bed, he wondered about the strange mummy that he'd seen in his room. It had pointed at him. Had the thing been warning him that he would be the one who would be swathed in bandages next? Well, perhaps the mummy had been the ghost of a person who had also suffered severe burns in the house where the Molyneux lived, because I've researched this case and I found out in the street in Wavertree in 1902 there was actually a fire in the very house in which John Molyneux saw the mummy.